The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, says the announcement by CXC is very disturbing. President of the association, Winston Smith, says it seems there's a reluctance by the examining body to demonstrate that they are in touch with the realities facing the region's students. Mr. Smith says his association is not amused that the examination body has failed to recognize that these students are the worst affected group of students to date, born of the fact that they have been out of school for approximately 80% of their educational life, which refers to 3rd to 5th form students. He says the JTA will be registering its dissatisfaction with the Caribbean Union of Teachers. There are differing views this afternoon over whether a permanent location has been chosen for a market to be erected in Portmore, St. Catherine. Last month, local government minister Desmond McKenzie said a location had been selected in Gregory Park for the construction of a modern market in Portmore, St. Catherine. However, Portmore's Mayor Leon Thomas says not so. Cody and Barrett reports.
Councillors in Portmore are up in arms over the announcement by local government minister Desmond McKenzie that Gregory Park will be the site of the market they have been calling for. At the recent meeting of the corporation, the councillors took Mayor Leon Thomas to task over the decision, which was not brought before the local government representatives. Councillor for the Edgewater Division, Alric Campbell, says such an announcement by the minister without any consultation is a slap in the face of the elected officials and the residents of Portmore.
With respect to you, neither yourself nor the Minister of Local Government has the authority to indicate on behalf of Council, until and unless Council decides where we would want to put a market. And so I am asking that we consult with the people, because what I am hearing on the ground and seeing on the ground, the people are not quite in agreement with the proposal as they heard it.
He says for some residents, the distance is also an issue. Mr. Campbell says based on preliminary consultations, a market space would be preferred at the Portmore Mall or Nago Head, which is central for most residents. But Mayor Thomas noted that a final decision on the location of the market hasn't been made, countering the local government minister's pronouncement.
The minister visit here, right, does not mean that that is where it's going to be. So it is not yet finalized, but there are concerns from citizens which we are going to accommodate the citizens, because we should have the meeting sometime early this part, but because we're having the committee meetings, so we are going to invite the citizens to have a further discussion, right? And also to clear the land so that they can see. So it's not yet finalized.
In the meantime, a request from Councillor of the West Chester Division, Renard Benjamin.
Will we put out something from this council to say that the final location of the market is under consideration? Because,
we should. I think we should.
Because I have received calls from persons I know in Cedar Grove who are saying to me that what is this we have done?
The mayor says the information has already been disseminated through various broadcast and print media. Cody and Barrett, TVJ News.
The fallout after a Gleaner article on corrupt justices of the peace has begun. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck addressed the matter yesterday. O'Shane Masters reports.
Following an undercover report by the Jamaica Gleaner, at least one justice of the peace has tendered his resignation. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck made the revelation on Thursday during the commissioning of 48 new justices of the peace in Montego Bay, St. James. The minister has been chiding and imploring JPs to hold true to the legislation which governs their appointment.
This is a noble vocation. It must not be abused. We expect JPs who have been commissioned to act in the highest tradition that is of integrity. Because without you, the JPs across Jamaica, sending the right signal of justice, of decency, of civility, then who are we to look towards?
According to the article titled Corrupt Justices, 16 JPs from across 6 parishes were caught collecting money for their services and affixing their seals, attesting to the identity and good character of persons they had met for the first time. The article further noted that in one instance, a female undercover reporter was repeatedly sexually harassed by JPs who shared an office in Clarendon. It led to this warning from Minister Chuck.
We expect the others, in short order, to hand in their resignation and their seals. Because even though we are not sure who you are as yet, we are likely to find you out. So whether you're in Clarendon, St. Catherine, or Kingston and St. Andrew, if you know that you're acting inappropriately and have been found out and have been exposed in the Gleaner newspaper, Sunday's Gleaner newspaper, please report to your custos, hand in your seal and your resignation.
In the meantime, Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, Paula Llewellyn, says another practice which has surfaced is that of justices of the peace signing statements by witnesses who want to recant statements given to the police. She says that must not be done, and the JPs must stop this if they have any integrity, and the witness be sent back to the police investigator.
I plan to, between sometime now and before the end of the year, speak with the Bar Association and the Advocates Association to warn attorneys that this thing that we have been seeing where Justice of the Peace is witnessing a statement or a letter purporting to recant from the original statement that was given to the police, it must stop.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
And it's now time for a break, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to Midday News. Thanks for staying with us. 2 key stakeholders are encouraging companies to promote mental health breaks in the workplace for employees. As Sandy Williams reports in the final of a 2-part special report, experts believe the value of mental health breaks could outweigh costs for employers.
Paying more for healthcare premiums, absenteeism, and employee turnover are among the consequences organizations are likely to face if they fail to give employees mental health breaks. Psychologist Dr. Lakem Samaj says the advantages are greater when people are allowed to take time off from work to deal with mental health issues.
One of the most common elements of a problem in the workplace is something we call presenteeism, meaning that you are there in body, but in mind and soul and spirit, you're not, because you're having some serious issues.
He adds that mental health breaks could help increase productivity in the workplace, as this will allow employees to better cope with stress and focus on their responsibilities. President of the Jamaica Civil Service Association, O'Neill Grant, says companies could also establish mental health programs to help staff who may be suffering from depression or stress.
It is often good to have something that is set up within the organization that allows the employee to get this stressor, this anxiety, this thing that is affecting their mental health addressed. So I do believe that if that is recognized and the employees are sent to a program mandated and sponsored by the employer, that they must give them the appropriate time off to go and attend to these issues.
Both Dr. Samaj and Mr. Grant are encouraging employers to facilitate mental health breaks in the workplace.
If your staff is having problems and you can help them to alleviate it, so the same way the EAP programs provide external assistance, it is within that same thing you realize this person needs a day just to regain their thoughts and their strengths and to think it through and to solve the problems that are, dealing with them.
It is something that we have to look at very carefully and look at it in terms of how it is that we want to help the employee rather than how it is going to just affect the business.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
Detectives in St. Anne are on the hunt for 2 men in connection with the shooting of a businessman and his secretary at a motorcycle parts store in Discovery Bay, St. Anne yesterday. Reports are that about 1:30 p.m., the men rode a motorcycle to the store when the pillion went inside and made inquiries about parts. He went outside and returned shortly after with a gun and shot both the businessman and his assistant before escaping on the waiting motorcycle. The businessman received multiple gunshot wounds while the secretary was shot in her back. They were taken to hospital where they were admitted in serious but stable condition. And it's now time for the Business Minute. Here's Cody and Barrett.
In the world of business, Mailpack Group is reporting a drop in profits for the year ended December 2021. Profits for the 12 months was $398 million. In 2020, the company's post-tax earnings amounted to $443 million. However, revenues for the group improved. The company made $1.8 million versus $1.7 million the prior year. Mailpack says it is anticipating continued growth in its performance, considering consumer patterns and increased demand for courier and delivery services. And Knoxford Express has reported its highest quarterly report since 2018 at $37 million. According to the company, more persons are parking their cars and opting to take the luxury bus due to soaring gas prices. Knoxford's revenues grew by 63% to $301 million during the third quarter. Over the 9 months, its earnings totaled $45.5 million, recovering from a loss of $60 million. And coming up in the business review this Sunday, giving Mandeville something to look forward to is a cafe restaurant providing a chill spot with unique food. That's it for the Business Minute this week. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
We go now to a look at the top regional and international stories. Here's Sandy Williams.
In the region, Caribbean countries are being called upon to respect and protect defenders of the environment, land and territory, and a call on businesses to respect human rights in all their activities as the global community observes International Mother Earth Day on Friday. In a joint statement, the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, its special rapporteurship on economic, social, cultural, and environmental rights, and the Latin America and Caribbean branches of the Office of the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights, said defenders play a crucial role in the protection of human rights and the environment. According to estimates made by the Office of the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights, on a global scale, almost 3 out of 4 murders of defenders of human rights and the environment happen in Latin America and the Caribbean. On the international scene, authorities in Shanghai have said they will tighten the enforcement of lockdown measures as a COVID surge continues in China's financial capital. New measures include placing electronic door alarms to prevent those infected from leaving, as well as evacuating people to disinfect their homes. Earlier this week, hundreds were forcibly evacuated from their homes to allow for buildings to be disinfected. The restrictions will take Shanghai's lockdown into its 5th week. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
And it's time now for a quick break. When we return, we'll have your Midday Sports Report. Simon Preston is standing by.
Welcome back. It's now time for Midday Sports. I'm Simon Preston. Jamaican boxer Ricardo Big 12 Brown recorded a third-round victory over Mexican Mario Juarez in his second professional fight last night in Toronto, Canada. Juarez did not come back out for the fourth and final round of the contest. This was Brown's second victory since turning professional. Brown, who represented Jamaica at the Tokyo Olympics, is expected to fight again on May 28th. Jamaica's men's and women's Rugby Sevens team commenced their bid for qualification to the Rugby Sevens World Cup as they play in the World Cup qualifiers this weekend in the Bahamas. Among male sports teams, Jamaica has qualified for the FIFA World Cup in football, the Lacrosse World Cup, the Rugby League World Cup, and the Rugby Sevens World Cup. The Crocs are now looking to create history by becoming Jamaica's first male sports team to qualify for 2 senior World Cup tournaments. Head coach Waisali Sareve feels the Jamaicans are prepared to create history.
Jamaica, we are one of them. We've done our preparation for the last couple of months. We were blessed to be invited to the HSBC 7 Series in Edmonton and Vancouver. We won the Turks and Caicos, the RAN qualifiers, and then the boys really played well at Seville and Malanga. And I believe that the boys are here, all prepared to get out and show what we've learned so far. And we're looking forward. And
Jamaica will need to reach the final in order to qualify for the World Cup and the Commonwealth Games. The women's qualifiers will be played simultaneously with only the winner advancing to the World Cup. The tournament kicks off on Saturday with the Crocs battling Curaçao at 8 o'clock Jamaica time. The Lady Crocs will open their account in the tournament at 12:50 p.m. against Trinidad and Tobago. To cricket we go now, as despite a massive fightback from Woolmer's boys, Excelsior High still eked first innings points on the second and penultimate day of the Issa Grace Shield final being played at the Melbourne Oval. Excelsior were dismissed for 102 in their first innings after resuming on 27 for 2. They lead by 29 runs. Malik McKenzie carried to 56 not out from his overnight 16, while Brandon English made 15 and Norris 10-11. Alex Hines led the Woolmers' fight back with 7 for 39. Woolmers, who made 73 in their first innings yesterday, were yet to begin their reply at sports time. And finally this afternoon, wet and soggy underfoot conditions have prevented play on the third and final day of the Issa Headley Cup final between St Elizabeth Technical and host Manchester High. Another inspection is expected at 1 o'clock. Conditions are also overcast at sports time. Stets are in pole position to secure victory as they have Manchester High struggling at 66 for 7 in their second innings, a lead of 33 runs. And that is where we'll pull up stumps for now. For your Midday Sports Report, I'm Simon Preston. Anthony, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Simon. And that's the Midday News. I'm Anthony Lugg. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.